so that you can see me. I am Leah Wilson-Felis. Welcome. This is Yoga Studio Satya, and I am Zooming this class. I'm recording this class for YouTube. You can find me at youtube.com. My name is Leah Wilson-Felis. That's how you find me. You can also go to my website, which is www.whitelotustherapy.com. So this is a beginner yoga class. Make sure you have any and all the stuff that you might need around you. Turn the music down so YouTube doesn't catch on to that. And so I always like to make sure that I have a blanket. Sometimes I'll have a block or like a pillow. So if I need it, I might go over and grab my pillow. And so sit however you'd like today. This is called Sukasana. It means easy pose, but it's not easy for everyone. So if you're like, my knees are killing me, then feel free to extend your legs out. Some people prefer to sit like this. This is called deer pose, Mringasana. Some people will switch to sitting up on their knees at some point, maybe with a pillow or a cushion between the hips and the thighs. So switch your seat often and find comfort in your postures today. Because this is a beginner yoga class, I'm going to be showing a lot of different options. It ends up being more like an all levels yoga class because some people think they're beginner, but they're not. So today I'm going to be working with the elements. We have 5 elements in this universe. We have more than that, of course, you know, on the periodic table. But in our elements of the planet, of this planet, we work with space, which is, it's also known as heaven. We've got air, we've got fire, earth, and water. And so for today and the next 5 weeks, we'll be working on each of these elements. So tune in with me on YouTube if you miss out. And so today I'm going to be kind of going through all the elements. So the mudra I would like to offer today is the gesture for balancing all 5 of our elements, which is air, space, fire, water, and earth. So we've got a finger for each one of these elements, which is cool too. So what you want to do is connect the pinky tip to the other pinky tip, and then the ring finger and the middle finger and the index finger. So just the tips of your fingers coming together. The thumbs are going to be the length of the thumb. So the length of the thumbs come together. So the thumbs are pointing straight up, while the other fingers are curled around it. Looks good. Yeah. It's known as the Dharma Pravartana mudra. Okay, so Dharma is basically like your purpose, your life in motion. So we're setting our elements into motion here. So feel free to just let that rest in your lap. Let your shoulders relax. We're going to just take a couple seconds here to just bring ourselves onto our mat and breathe a little bit. So feel free to close your eyes if that feels comfortable. If that's uncomfortable, just find a spot on the floor or a spot on the yoga mat to just gaze down at. Something that you can stare at for a little while. And we're going to breathe here. Breathe more consciously. So as you breathe in, feel your lungs expand, feel your belly expand. And as you breathe out, feel your body soften. Let's do that a couple times. Just starting to bring ourselves to this time, this moment on our yoga mat. The breath is the best way to bring ourselves to this moment, right here, right now, in our body. Let's take about 3 more deep breaths, just focusing on that spot or closing the eyes. This gesture facilitates a full yogic breath, so you feel that belly expand with each inhale. And you feel the belly relax and almost contract and squeeze that breath out with the exhale. Let's do it one more time. Now, as we've been sitting here for a while, some of us are in discomfort. So let's start to move a little bit here. So let's release our mudra. Mudra means gesture. Start to wiggle out your fingers. And move your legs if you need to. If you need to switch your seat, please feel free to do that. Switch your seat around a little bit. We're going to move our arms just to bring some energy in, some air into our body and into our lungs. So with an inhale, scoop the air and bring the breath in. And as we exhale, we kind of float the hands down as we breathe out. So we're going to scoop and breathe in. And exhale and let those arms rake down in front of you, like we're combing the air. Let's do it one more time all together here. Breathing in, lifting up, and exhaling to float down. That's called Vinyasa when we match our movement to our breath. So go ahead and drop your hands onto your knees. Even if your legs are straight like this, hands are just going to be on the knee. We're going to kind of curl through our spine and through our pelvis. So as we inhale, let's come into like a cow. You want to reach forward with the belly, with the chest looking up. With an exhale, round through the back, like a cat. We're going to inhale for cow, shoulders shrugged back. Exhale, round forward. We'll do that a couple more times. Try to get that movement into the pelvis, into the shoulders, the neck. Nice. Just starting to bring awareness, bring movement and energy into this body. Yeah. Nice work. All right. So come on back to center. We are going to stretch everything in our body from our head down to our toes. And then we're going to do some moon salutations because it was just a full moon. Now, of course, this is being recorded and it might not be when people are watching it, but the moon salutation is an awesome way to stretch the whole body, especially with knee stuff going on. And I know a lot of people at home have some knee stuff going on. So let's start with our neck. So however you want to sit, I'm always going to choose like this, but if you need to stretch your legs out, please feel free to do that. If you feel like you're rounding, sit up on something like a block or a pillow. That helps a lot. So I'll roll up my blanket a little bit and give me some little lift. And so we're going to ground our fingertips off either side of the mat, and we're working on our neck here. So draw those shoulders down so that you're lengthening from ear to shoulder. Start to gently lean your head over to the right. You're going to start to feel the stretch over here on the left side of the neck, down into the left shoulder cap. And we're just warming up, so let's bring our head back to center, and we're just going to try the other side. So move slow so that everything that you do is on purpose. Every motion that you make is intentional. Feeling the stretch on the right side. We're going to intensify that next, so come on back to center, lean the head over to the right. Now if you're like, it feels pretty intense to me, you can stop right there. Now if you're like, I don't feel a whole lot, then what you can do is sweep your right arm out and up overhead so that your right hand is on the left side of your head. Yeah, it's kind of grabbing on over your ear, your left ear, and helping the head slightly, just a little bit more pressure there, a little bit more tension. But if you don't need that, then don't feel like you need to add the hand. Nice job. Go ahead and release. Chin is going to roll down to chest. We just let our head hang forward for a moment. Let's try it on the other side, rolling our head over to the left. And remember, feeling the stretch on the right side. So if you're like, I feel a stretch, don't feel like you need to add the left hand. But if you'd like to, you could sweep your left hand out and up over towards your right ear, assisting your head a little further. But remember, if it hurts, we don't need it to hurt, we just want to feel a stretch. Go ahead and release that hand. Release the head, chin to chest. We're bringing head forward, chin as close to the chest as you can. Relax those shoulders. Take a breath. We're going to do it one final time, just leaning our head to the right. You've got the option to grab on with your right hand if you want to. And I'm going to carve this side out. So I look up a little bit towards the right, I look down a little bit towards the right, and I just kind of carve my head forward and backward slightly. Keep breathing. This is the first time I've told you to breathe while you're stretching your neck. So important to get that oxygen into our blood. Now whenever you're ready, roll your head forward, chin to chest. And slowly, slowly, slowly make your way over towards the left. So head towards the left this time, stretching the right side of the neck. Remember, if you need that assist, you could use your left hand. On this side, what I'm going to do is carve it out towards the left. So I draw my head back slightly. I draw my chin forward slightly, just to stretch out through the right side of my neck. Good job. And from there, when you're done, chin to chest. This is called manual neck traction, what we're going to do next. So sweep those hands out and up over your head, interlace your fingers, chin down, we look down, hands come to the back of the head. Bring your elbows on either side of your face, round through your neck, round through your upper back. And start to feel neck stretching, shoulder blades stretching. Remember, no pain in yoga. It can be a little uncomfortable, but we don't want it to hurt. Go ahead and bring yourself back up to center. Open your elbows wide. Push your head back into your hands if that's okay. And that'll open up the chest. I kind of feel that in my armpits a little bit. And then I'm going to lean from side to side. You're starting to work into the ribs, into the shoulders slightly. Just at your own pace, rocking side to side, left to right. Feeling those ribs spreading as you do that. Keep those sits bones grounded, rooted to the floor. Looking good. We'll slowly come on back to center, release those arms down, and let's stretch our legs out. So give yourself a little break, give your knees a break, wiggle them out, wiggle those toes out, window wipers. Oh, for some of us, it's like we have to peel ourselves out of that pose. No worries. That's all part of our fascia and connective tissue starting to lengthen. So it's working. It's working. Fingertips are going to ground off either side of the mat. I know most people are sitting this way on their mat vertically. I'm just sitting horizontally. So we're going to drop into the right hand. Left hand sweeps out and up. And then from there, if you're like, I don't feel anything, then you start to bend into your right elbow or slide that right hand out, but you don't want your left butt bone to lift. So make sure that left sit bone stays rooted and you're reaching away from your sit bone with your left hand. You should feel the stretch in your left side body. Remember, don't make it hurt. One more breath. That may have been your first breath. Let's inhale and bring ourselves back up to center. Relax in the middle here for a moment. You can feel that warmth that you created on that left side. Drop into that left hand. Right hand reaches out and up. If you still need more, slide out with that left hand or bend the elbow, but keep your right sit bone grounded. And start to just reach away from that grounded hip, feeling the stretch in your right side body. Don't forget to breathe. Nice. With an inhale, we'll bring it up and nice and smooth. We're going to go back over to the right. We've got to do that repetitive motion. I know our mind doesn't always like it, but our body loves it. Every time we do it, the body says, oh yeah, I just did this. Inhale back up, over to the left. Nice and slow, paying attention to the sensations of your body. Breathing in that air. Reaching into space. Grounding into earth. Inhale, bring yourself back up. All right, so now we're going to work the back. So big inhale up to the sky, round over a big beach ball, reaching for your knees or your shins or your ankles, or if you have long arms like me, you might be able to reach your toes. So wherever you are today, just reaching down, really feeling that back stretching. Some people feel this behind their legs. Some people are going to feel it in their hamstrings, in their calves, in their low back. So these are all good options of where you might feel this. I know I'm having you hold this for a while. One more breath. Nice job, everybody. Come on up. If it's okay to keep your legs like this, you can do that. We're going to take our right arm and bring it across, give ourselves a half hug. And then the left hand is going to come up to the elbow and assist it. So you might feel that stretch on the outside of your right arm. If you need more, you could lean over to the left a little bit, and that'll bring it into the ribs. Nice job. We're going to work that same arm, right arm. So come on up, swing that arm out, give yourself a squeeze in the back there. And then the right arm reaches up to the sky to the back of the head. Assist with your left hand coming up to your elbow and just helping that elbow reach straight up to the ceiling. If you still need more, you can lean a little bit more. So you should feel that stretch somewhere in that tricep muscle. Big breath. If you can't take a breath, you're pushing too hard. Go ahead and release the arms, bring them down. You gotta do it on the other side. So left arm comes across, give yourself a half hug. Right hand is going to assist the elbow. So I feel that kind of in this area across my shoulder. But anywhere across there, even through the ribs, if you lean to the right. Remember, if you ever cramp up, give yourself a break. Then come back when you're ready. Come on back to center. Squeeze those shoulders back. That's called shoulder retraction. And then we'll swing that arm up overhead as high as we can. Left arm to the back of the head. Left hand. Then the right hand might assist. Now if that's difficult at all, there's other options. I usually only offer it if I see people struggling, and it looks pretty good. If you need more, you can always lean a little bit to the right to lengthen that left side. And come on back to center. Release those arms. Nice job. All right, with all that, I feel like this burning in my thighs. I just feel that because I like sitting like this. So it just is a challenge for me to sit like this for a while. So let's do like half this way and half Sukasana. So we'll keep our right leg straight and we'll bend just our left knee. And so if that knee's really lifted and you're like, then just let gravity do the work. It's going to help pull it open. If it hurts the knee, then you need support. So bring a block under that knee or bring a pillow or something like that to support the knee. So big inhale up to the sky. Rotate a little bit to the right, and we're going to start to fold over, reaching for your right knee or your right shin, ankle, toes. Now you want to reach equally as you do this, so you don't want to be reaching more with your right hand or more with your left. We'll do that, but for now, equally as much as you can. Head bows down to the knee, if possible. This posture is called Janu Sirshasana in Sanskrit, and that means head to knee position. So maybe one day, I've been practicing yoga a long time, and I'm not quite there yet. So no comparison against me or anyone else. Let's take one last breath while we're here. Breathe that air in, exhale, and ground to the earth. Let's bring ourselves back up to center, and we're going to just switch sides. So kick that left leg out, bend your right knee in, support it if you're feeling it in the knee. If you need, gravity is going to just kind of help that to open. Big inhale when you're ready, rotate to the left, and we're going to try to fold over top that left leg, reaching for knee, shin, ankle, toes. Remember, my friends, this is not a torture chamber, so if you need a break, feel free to lay down for a couple moments, take some deep breaths, come to a pose that works best for you. There's no judgment here. Let's take 2 more deep breaths, just noticing, where do you feel it? Is it your knee? Is it your calf? Is it your back? Nice. Inhale slowly and roll yourself up. Kick that right leg out. So now we've done some hamstrings. We're going to move to inner thigh next. So feet come together, knees apart. Again, it doesn't matter how close your knees come to the floor. There are some people who can, just flatten them out here. Some people look sad at me, and it's like, it's okay. If you feel a stretch, you're doing it right. So don't worry about how far those legs come down. Maybe grab onto your toes, maybe grab onto your ankles, or a gentle press on the knees. I like to lean my chest into that. It becomes physics. The fulcrum helps the knees to open as we press forward, and you feel that stretch inner thighs. If you're feeling it in the knees, then what we need to do is start working the actual tissue of your thighs outward. So I just take the tissue and start rotating outward. And so that could be, with recent knee surgeries and things like that, if you're feeling it in the knee, it's because the knee is twisting, and we don't want the knee to twist, we want the hip to rotate. Yeah. So from here, let's add a little rock. I rock to the right, I rock to the left. It's kind of like a wave, carving out inside the hips, low back a little bit. Where do you feel that? Just noticing. Breathing fluidly, don't forget that breath. It's so easy to lose sight of the breath as we're moving. Nice job. Go ahead and roll up. Bring your hands back behind you and send those legs out in front. Give yourself a break. Now I know some don't like to put a lot of pressure on the hands, so try not to lock the joints there, a little softness. I'm going to bend my knees and add some window wipers. Just a little bit of movement there. Nice job. So when I do the internal rotation, I can feel a little outer thigh stretch. We don't do a lot of internal rotation in yoga. We spend a lot of time externally rotated. All right. And finally, come on back to, we call it Dandasana. It means staff position, so legs are going to be straight out. You can support yourself if you need to. Core strength to just sit up tall. And we are going to work our ankles. We don't do this a whole lot. I was a dancer for a long time, so I'm going to bring some of that back. So flex your feet, push your heels forward, so the heels are pushing forward. And so we're going to take our feet and rainbow them out. And we're just going to do that a couple times. Toes touch and we rainbow them out. Nice. You got it. Now, as they come back up, we're going to point straight forward and then flex back up and point forward. Yeah. We'll do it one more time. We're going to add all that together. So they flex, they rainbow out, they point forward. Then we're going to roll them up. What? Brain yoga. We turn the toes out, point the toes, roll them up, flex, rainbow, point, roll them up. We're going to go backwards too. So let's point, then roll them out, then flex them, then roll them together. Yeah. You might be like, ooh, tomorrow, my ankles and calves. And then let's roll it out like big circles. So don't worry about which way, do both directions. You can do that with your wrists too. Feels good. Awesome job. All right, so a full body stretch here. We did pretty much everything in our body. So let's move forward to hands and knees here. So I just swing legs to one side. If you have some water, you can always grab a sip on your way. I always use my pillow or my blanket underneath my knees as I come to hands and knees. So we are building up wrist, arm, shoulder, core, and hip and leg strength in this position. I know it doesn't feel like much because we've been doing this since we were babies. Crawling around. And so, let's get some curvature in our spine. This is the same thing that happens when we're born and we start crawling. We're born in this rounded shape, that fetal position. And so when we start to look up at mom, we lift our head up, we lift our tailbone up, and our belly drops through. And this is how we get the curves of our spine. And let's start to round the spine up. Let's take a big inhale. Fill the belly for cow pose. Exhale, round the spine for cat pose. A couple more like that. Move with your breath. Nice job. All right. So we're going to go for a little bit of core strength here. It's not only core, but we get shoulder and hip strength too. So we'll start with the legs. So keep your weight light on the hands there. And we're going to try the right leg first. So with an inhale, reach the right leg back and up and look forward. Exhale and round the spine. Nice. Inhale, reach it up. This is called active cat. Exhale, round the spine. We'll do two more like that. Nice. You can feel that in the low back as you lift the leg and hip up. All right. So come on back to neutral. Let's do the other side. So if you need a break, your wrists are hurting, you can always come up and shake them out. We're going to do 5 on the left side. Inhale to lift the left leg high. Exhale to round the spine. Inhale, reach the toes as high as you can. Leg can be bent or straight. Exhale, round the spine. My knee comes through to my elbow. Nice job. Okay, I think we have one more. I never count, I just kind of go for it. And we'll drop that knee down. So let's take that pressure off of our hands for a moment. So whether it be child's pose, so this is child's pose, Miss Liz. So that takes the weight off here. Or if that hurts the knees, then you can, from tabletop, send the hands forward and drop onto elbows. That's known as puppy pose. So you feel like a playful puppy, and rather. Or some people will just come up onto their knees and kind of roll out the wrists. So whatever feels best to just give yourself a break here. All right. So now we're going to add the arms into that movement that we just did. So come on back up to tabletop position. This takes a lot of core strength, especially if you're not trying to put any weight on your hands. So I'm going to kick my right foot back, and then I'm going to walk my left fingers forward and maybe even lift my left hand off the ground. So it's up to you. You can keep your toes and fingers grounded if needed. Nice. Inhale, reach. Exhale, try to bring your elbow to your knee underneath. Let's do it 2 more times. Inhale, reach. Exhale, crunch. Nice. One more. I know it takes a lot of coordination. Keep trying. It gets better. We'll drop the hand, the knee. Switch sides. Left foot kicks back. Right hand, we can crawl it forward. We can reach it up. Just maintaining the hold is pretty hard. Let's add some motion. Inhale, reach. Exhale, nice and slow. Crunch. 2 more like that. Inhale to reach. Exhale to crunch. I promise you, try it again tomorrow and your body will be like, oh yeah, I did this yesterday. Drop the hand, drop the knee. Separate the knees wide. Either child's pose or puppy pose. Take in a couple breaths and start to melt into the ground here. Take that pressure off your hands. You can feel some warmth growing in the body, some fire. Maybe a little sweat starting to build up, working hard. Some water. Great job, everybody. With your next inhale, let's start to roll up back to tabletop. Now we're going to come into a low lunge. This is integral for our moon salutation. So I'm going to take my right leg and lift it up high, look forward, and I'm going to try to step that right foot as far forward as I can. I know I make that look really easy. It could be that. It could be like swinging it around town. Some people come up and then step forward. It's your choice. So right foot comes forward as best as you can. Some people need to like help their leg forward. So I've been doing this a long time, so really don't compare yourself to me. I started doing yoga because I was a dancer at like age 8. So really. So hands come down. If you're like, I can't reach, blocks come to the floor then. That's why we have blocks handy sometimes. And we're just going to look forward. And when I look from the floor to just straight ahead, it changes the stretch for me. I'm going to start to push into my right foot and lift my hands and they come up to my knee. Nice. Yes. Awesome. So this is a low crescent lunge. You can stay right here. If you're like, I got good balance, you could try to lift your hands to your heart or even up overhead. This is the full posture. It's not a beginner posture, and you're all doing it in a beginner class, so See what I mean? One more breath. Let's bring the hands down. All right, we're going to practice a step back, okay? This is not a beginner move, but I know you can do it. So I'm going to have you tuck your back left toe and lift your back left knee. I bring my right hand to the inside of my right foot so I can try to step that foot back to my first downward dog. So downward dog is an upside down V shape. We want to look at our toes or ankles, push into the floor with your hands, and kind of pretend like you're mooning the person behind you. Nice job, looking good. From here, let's drop down, hands and knees. We're going to do all that on the other side. So, left leg, we're going to lift it high and step it forward. You can help it. You can help it with your left hand. You can swing it around town, come into kneeling, and then step forward. It's up to you. We're making our way to the floor. So, blocks to the floor. Look forward. From there, push into your left foot. Pick your hands up to the top of your left knee. You see how it gets a little bit more intense as we get higher from the ground. From there, we'll start to lift high, if you want to. One more deep breath right here. You've got this. Exhale, float it down. I'm going to move my left hand into the inside. I tuck my back right toe, lift my back right knee, and step the left foot back. Look at your toes in downward facing dog. Hike your hips up as high as you can. Push into the mat. Nice job. Pedal it out. Press your left heel down, bend the right knee. Then press your right heel down, bend your left knee. Back and forth a couple times. Nice job. Let's come on down. Hands and knees. Child's pose or puppy pose. Give yourself a break here. Let your hands rest. Let your knees and your hips rest. So if having your knees fully flexed does not work for you, a puppy pose is going to be a better option. If the knees are just not having it today, feel free to roll out onto your belly and lay flat on your stomach. Last breath here. Make it nice and deep. We'll start to peel ourselves up. I'm on forearms here at first. Then I push myself up onto hands. I'm going to tuck my toes and roll back up into that downward facing dog. Lifting the knees, they do not need to go straight, and your heels never need to touch the floor. But we do want our feet to be separated so that there's about 5 or 6 inches between our feet, toes facing forward if possible. Now this is the hard part. We're going to look towards our hands. We're going to start tippy-toeing our feet forward and walking our hands back to meet our feet. So it doesn't matter how pretty it looks, you just end up in this forward fold. Soften your knees, separate your feet a little wider. And let's pretend to be like a big gorilla. So let your knees bend, let your knuckles just land on the floor here. Let your back round, and if your eyes are open, you might be glancing behind you through your legs. Nice job. Begin to swing the arms out to the side. So the left arm out to the left, right arm out to the right. Push into your feet. Start to roll up. Go really slow because we don't want to get dizzy. So as you roll up, we'll sweep up to the sky, you know it. And the hands will come down to the heart. Rearrange your stance if you need to. I always have to walk my feet closer together, adjust my clothes a little bit. My hair out of my mouth, things like that. And then I step forward to the top of my mat. So I've got about 6 inches between my toes and the top of my mat, maybe a foot. And what that does is it gives me space to step backwards when we go into our sun salutation. So we're actually going to do moon salutations, as I said. So a sun salutation is kind of the motions that all yoga classes are built after or amongst. And so this is going to be just kind of an add-on to that. So moon salutation, we come down into a kneeling position, just like we practiced. So let's inhale right here at the heart. Breathe in the air. Stay here and exhale. As you breathe in again, feel your crown lift to the heavens, to the air, to the space. As you exhale, feel your feet ground into the earth. One more time, inhale. Exhale, the hands are going to come down to the sides this time, side of your body. This is known as mountain position, Tadasana. Inhale, sweep your hands out, up overhead, Urdhva Hastasana, upward salute. Exhale, we soften the knees and forward fold. So I separate my feet as I come down even wider. I do want to try to keep all 10 toes facing to the top of my mat. And if you're not as flexible here and you need to get some blocks under your hands, please feel free to do that. We're going to stretch out a little here in this pose. So with an inhale, straighten just one leg. I'm going for my right leg. And then I'm going to exhale and just rebend the knees. And then I switch sides. So with an inhale, I try my best to straighten my left leg. And then I exhale and bend both. Inhale, right leg lengthens. Exhale, bend both knees. Inhale, left leg lengthens. Exhale, bend both. We'll do it one more time on each side. Right leg. And left leg. The next position in our sequence is a half forward fold. So we bring ourselves up to shins, hands on the shins. We lengthen the elbows, we lengthen the spine, and we lengthen our legs. Look straight down at your yoga mat. So if you're looking up at me, just glance straight down and try to straighten the back of your neck by pushing your your chin back up into your throat. One more breath. Exhale, bend through your knees. Here comes the part that we move into moon salutation. The right leg only is going to step far, far back. And we want to drop our right knee onto our pillow or onto our blanket. You can untuck your toe or keep it tucked. That's kind of your choice. Remember what we did earlier. We looked forward. From there, we pick our hands up to the top of our left knee. And for our last breath, let's sweep our arms out slowly up to the sky. Exhale, float your hands down. We're going to add something in here. Right hand to the floor. Left hand sweeps out to the left, up to the corner, or up to the sky. Very good. You can check your lines in the mirror over there. One more breath. Exhale, float the hand down. Remember what we did at the beginning. Tuck your right toe. Lift your back right knee. We're stepping to downward dog with our left foot. Beautiful job. All right, here's a beginner modified vinyasa. Look towards your hands here in down dog and roll forward to plank. Plank is going to be on the knees for beginners. And then we untuck our toes, lower to the floor. A heart lift of your choice. So it could be nice and low, just looking forward. You could push into the floor a little bit there. It's up to you. And then we'll lower back forward. Push back to child's pose. So I push up to hands and knees. Start to slide back on my hands. I might need to separate my knees a little bit there. Might keep my hips a little bit more lifted this time around. Half puppy, half child's. You can modify. Take a deep breath right here. With an inhale, let's roll up hands and knees. So if you need to, like me, walk your hands back into place. Walk your knees closer together. We'll tuck our toes. Roll up to that downward dog. Right leg, we're going to lift it all the way up as high as we can towards the sky. Look towards your hands and start walking forward with your right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot, all the way forward as close as you can get to your hands. Walk your hands back. We end up in a forward fold. Let's lift halfway, hands to the shins, the knees. We flatten our back out. This is a really great way to just kind of reset your spine. One more breath. Kind of suck it in a little bit. And let's let it go. Ragdoll. Like that gorilla pose. Separate your feet, bend your knees. Let yourself just hang out here. Head just relaxing. Arms just hanging. Perhaps grasping onto opposite elbows if you choose. And we'll reverse swan dive, nice and slow. Sweep your arms out like a bird. Push into your feet, rolling nice and slow. You don't want to get dizzy, up to the sky. And exhaling to the heart center. Nice job. You too. Thanks. Get all the hair on my mouth. And then we'll do our last side, the left side. So we'll get this other side done, and then we'll lay down and relax a little bit. Inhale right here. You might have to say a prayer at this point. Exhale, hands to the sides. Inhale, sweep it up overhead. And nice slow swan dive. Soften through the knees, hips reach back, heart reaches forward. 3 sets of stretching the hamstrings here. With an inhale, straighten one leg. I did my left leg first. Exhale, bend both. Inhale, straighten the other leg just as best as you can. Remember, no pain, just stretching. 2 more on each side. Nice job. I'm on my last one here. Right leg straightens, soften both knees. And with an inhale, I'm going to lift up to the shins. Flatten the back, lengthen the arms, lengthen the legs. I look straight down at my mat, so I kind of look like a figure 7, number 7. One more breath. Exhale, bend through those knees, bend them a lot. Get your fingertips to the floor. We're stepping our left foot as far back as we can. Drop your knee down to your pillow or your blanket. Rearrange, get things in alignment. Now my hands are on the floor to begin, looking forward. Then we're going to push up to the top of our right knee. And if you're like, no, I like this better, you can go back to the floor. Don't worry about what we're doing or what I'm doing. And if you'd like, you can go for the full lift up to the sky. Nice job. This is why I like the mirror too, because I can watch without having to stare at you. We'll float those hands down. Left hand to the floor. Right hand is going to sweep out to the right, up to the corner, or up to the ceiling. Nice rotation in the spine there. Go ahead and lower back down. Here's our down dog. Tuck that back left toe. Lift the back left knee. I'm going to try to step my foot back. Downward dog. It's hard. It is. It's hard. And then we'll try a plank pose. I look from my toes to my hands, kind of like I'm going to do a push-up. Beginners, you can drop to your knees. We'll lower down to the floor through thighs, belly, and chest. Beautiful chaturanga. Squeeze those elbows back. Look forward. That's known as Sphinx pose. A little bit higher is known as Cobra pose. I'm not going to lengthen my arms because this is a beginner class, but that's upward dog, and we'll lower back through. Find your way to your last downward dog. I'm going to push up hands and knees. Rearrange. Tuck those toes and roll up, looking back at the toes, back at the ankles, and pedaling out those heels. It gets better with time, I can promise you that. Look from your toes to your hands and start walking forward. Nice job. We will then lift halfway, hands to the shins, flatten the back. Last time, pull that belly button in. And let's exhale, relax, forward fold. Ragdoll, separate those feet. Bend the knees. And from here, it's your choice when. You can stay here longer if you need. We'll add that reverse swan dive, sweeping the arms out, pressing through the feet, and slowly rolling up all the way. Hands will touch overhead. Exhale to the heart center. 2 more breaths, just grounding into the feet. Nice job. Alrighty, so from here, we are going to get ourselves back down to the floor on our back. So you could just kind of get down there if you want to. I always do that the safe way by stepping back to downward dog first and then dropping down the hands and knees. Otherwise, I end up just like crumpling to the ground. So grab some water if you have some close by. Take a little sip. Feels good to get grounded to the floor once again. So if you've been using a blanket, then you can roll it up and either use it under your knees, or I like to slide it back for a pillow. And we're going to lay onto our back here. Thank goodness, finally. We'll pull our knees to our chest. And this is like a reverse child's pose. So when we're in regular child's pose, our shins are on the floor, and our chest is being poured into the thighs with the knees bent. And in this version, we're doing just the opposite, pulling those knees towards the belly and chest. Start to rock right and left, massaging your lower back on the floor. Just rocking side to side. From here, move both hands over to your right knee. Kick your left leg up to the sky like you're going to step on the ceiling with your left leg, and we're going to draw that leg straight down to the floor so that your left leg is laying down, but your right knee is still pulled into your chest. So go ahead and let your left heel just rest on the floor. Pulling that right knee into the side of the chest. Let's massage that leg by doing 3 circles inward and 3 circles with that hip outward. We're going to do a laying pigeon today. So hold on to that knee, that right knee with your right hand, and reach down to your foot with your left hand. Try to rotate your leg outward so that your leg is in line with your chest. Knee, right knee with the right shoulder, right foot with the left shoulder. I feel it in my butt, my outer thigh a little bit. And we're going to just rock that leg a little bit from side to side. Very good. Alright, so relax that leg, pull the left leg back towards the chest, switch both hands to your left knee, kick your right leg up to the sky kind of like it's going to step on the ceiling, and then with that straight leg, draw that leg all the way down so that the right leg is relaxed on the floor, the heel can just rest. Right leg on the floor, left knee pulled into the chest, and we'll do 3 circles with that hip inward, and 3 circles outward. So both directions with that leg, just little rotations in the hip. And from here, we're going to move into that pigeon pose. So hang on with your left hand, reach your right hand down to your left foot or ankle, and try to rotate your leg so that you're gently pulling on the foot with your right hand, and maybe gently pressing with the left hand away so that the leg is parallel to the chest. Left knee in line with the left shoulder, left ankle and foot in line with the right shoulder. And you can rock that leg a little from side to side to start feeling that through the hip, into the butt, into the thigh. Great job. Relax when you're ready. Pull both knees back into your chest. This time, instead of pulling the knees together, have the toes stay together and pull the knees apart. And rock from side to side there. That's a really modified happy baby. If you want to go into a full happy baby with me, I mean, it's not beginner, but what you can do is reach your right hand up for your right ankle and your left hand up for your left ankle. You're going to pull those knees back into the outer rib cage. It's like a baby who's just found their feet. Rocking from side to side. That was great, everyone. Nice work. Start to release your legs. Bring your feet down to your mat with your knees bent. Before we lay down completely, let's do 3 to 5 rolling bridges. I'll teach you what that is first, and then you can choose how many you want to do. So my feet are flat, knees bent, pointed straight up to the ceiling, hands reaching down towards my heels. With an inhale, I'm going to push into my feet, lift my butt and low back off the ground. It activates my quads. Oh, my quad, Karen, she's wearing the shirt. Or reach the hands up to the sky or up over your head. Now that's a rolling bridge. You can lower back down with your breath. So you roll with your breath. With an inhale, butt lifts up, hands lift up overhead. With an exhale, everything rolls back down to neutral. One more if you like. You can do a bunch if you want to, of course. I like to do those rolling bridges to just start to kind of lengthen the spine out once again. And we'll start to relax our back into the floor. Relax your shoulder blades back. Let your head find a comfortable spot. Your hands, they can rest either on the sides of your body, or some like to rest the hands on their belly so that they can feel the breath moving in as the belly rises. And relaxing, softening as the belly moves out of the body. Now the legs can stay bent if you want. If they need a little break, start to lengthen those legs out, walking them down towards the bottom of your mat. Some people like to lay their legs over a bolster or over a rolled up blanket. So you've got a lot of options here. Part of it is just trying new things and seeing what works for our body and what doesn't. So find a comfortable position, and if laying flat on the floor does not feel good for you, then feel free to change that position to something else that does feel good for your body. We'll start to slowly bring our awareness to our breath. Feel the belly rise and expand as you breathe in. Feel the belly soften and relax as you breathe out. Grounding into the earth. Lifting into space as you use the air, use the wind. For some, this is the hardest time to be still, but when you're moving around, you're not practicing asteya, it's non-stealing. You're taking that stillness and that comfort away from those who are practicing stillness. And so it's the time to practice, no matter how hard it can be to lay still. Focus on your shoulders. Focus on your spine, relaxing. Your hips heavy on the floor. Feet just melting down. Feel like the earth is enveloping you. Your body is creating an indention underneath you. As I always say, if it's difficult to find stillness in the body, it will be even more difficult to find it in the mind. Practice. That's all this is. Let's take about 5 deep breaths, one for each element, a breath for space, a breath for air, a breath for fire, breath for water, and a breath for earth. A breath for you. Reach your arms out to the sides wide, start to slide them, reach them up over your head. Point your toes down to the bottom of your yoga mat and stretch in both directions, hands reaching high, feet reaching low. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Beautiful. You're welcome to stay on your back as long as you need. We call it Shavasana. When your body, your mind is telling you it's time to shift, it's time to move, then roll to a side of your choice. Whatever side calls to you. And from that space, start to press into the floor and press yourself, back to seated. Your seated posture of your choice, whichever works for you. Cross-legged, legs straight, sit on a pillow if you like. We come full circle here, back to where we began. This is the perfect time to just check in real fast and see, how things have changed. We know that change is the only constant in the world that we can ever count on. And so noticing how we can change in just one short hour is pretty miraculous. Gratitude for body, breath, for the mind that got you here. Remember that you are water, cleanse and flow. Remember that you are fire, burn, ignite. Remember that you are air, be still, focus, decide. Remember that you are earth, ground, support, give. In yoga, we say the word namaste, which means I bow to you. I bow to